Hey y'all, Monk Joseph here with the Broken Buddha. Today I'll be continuing on with the Religious Antithesis series for Judaism. Make a couple notes here because it's a controversial topic right now. One, I'll be using the word Jew or Jewish for everything. I've known quite a few Jewish people. I myself am 13% Jewish, and I've never heard anybody of that culture refer to themselves as Semite, Semitic, Hebrew, anything other than Jewish or Jews. So that's why we'll be using the word. And the fact that I even have to say that is ridiculous in these time periods, that you can't call somebody by their ethnic or cultural name because you're looked at as anti-Semitic is just insane. Other note, I have not read the Kabbalah, so I'm not coming from that standpoint. I'm only coming from the studying of the Old Testament and some of the Torah studies. And lastly, I will say my animosity, if any animosity comes out, it is towards the clergy that mess these things up or turn these things into its own antithesis. Because honestly, I see Judaism as the ultimate religious antithesis. And by the time I'm done, you'll understand why. But this should not be held against an entire culture or grouping of people. It is the clergy that did this. It is the clergy's fault, and it is the clergy that I am extremely mad at. And obviously, as the type of person I am, I'm a little hard on clergy. So if I was talking to a non-clergy Jewish person about this, I'd be a little cooler about it. But if I was talking to like a rabbi about this, I'd probably be a little fire and brimstone about it for obvious reasons. But let's get into it, and you'll understand why. So a lot of the Semitic religion and culture, or Jewish religion and culture, I said it like that because I'm about to start talking about Canaan, where a lot of it came out of, and I don't want to separate Canaanites and Jewish people, so that's why I use the word Semitic there. But let's start with Yahweh. Yahweh, spelled YHWH, is a different transliteration of the deity El. So they took their deity El, which was a deity of weather and war, and for whatever reason tried to convince the world and each other that it was a monotheistic deity and belief system when it's known that it was not. The Canaanite and other Semitic and pre-Canaanite religions of that order were polytheistic. So I don't know when the Jewish clergy decided to start telling their people in the world that they're a monotheistic religion, but that is a known lie. So there's number one hit against y'all and them. And it's really tricky because now you have Christians worshiping Yahweh and they don't know that it's the Canaanite god of weather and war. It's kind of scary stuff if you think about it. Okay, so as far as the creation story goes, that's pretty much in tune with every other Eastern Enlightenment religion that I've studied. If you really know what you're talking about and have done your studies and know how it all correlates, you'll see the parallels. I don't know where they got that story from. If I had to guess, their symbol is equated to the Shaktiism symbol, the oldest known, from my research, the oldest known religion, being the merging of the yin and yang, the male and female, the seen and the unseen, the 6-point star. You're merging two things. That's what that is. You're seeing the merging of the two things. And that's where I assume they got the creation story from, because it parallels a lot of that story. When you study Shaktiism, you see very similar parallels. So, but I can't say that. That's the only thing in this video that's not going to be concrete that you can look up easily, is that where the origins of the origin creation story came from. Moving on, you have one of the most important parts of the religion, the Exodus with Moses. I just did another video on this called The Lies of Exodus. And I was pretty horrified. Not horrified at the people, again, horrified at the clergy for making up these statements. A few things I've learned after doing some research this weekend. One, there is no record anywhere of any culture of Jewish people being massively enslaved by the hundreds of thousands or millions in Egypt. Two, there is no records of any exodus, of any slaves or Jewish people leaving Egypt other than the Jewish scripture. And three, Ramses II and Moses' interactions never happened. Look up Ramses II, look at what they know about his life, and then read the book of Exodus or watch the movie on it, whatever you want to do, and see that Ramses didn't have just one son that was killed by God. Ramses didn't die chasing Moses into the Red Sea. He had 80 to 100 kids and died of natural causes to modern scientific understanding, because when they tried to figure it out, they couldn't find anything other than natural causes that killed him. So that whole story, which eventually created Zionism, doesn't exist. And that's really where it came from. And I don't think these things were made up. I mean, you people create these things to help a strong identity and, I don't know what to call it, self motivation or pride within oneself. And but the whole chosen people thing came from that. And even then, they were talking about the chosen people of Yahweh, which is the Canaanite or Semitic god of weather and war. So yeah, again, and I understand creating something like that, but to carry it on until now, where people are allowing someone to kill lots of people just because of this chosen people statement made in Exodus is just insane. Sorry, I don't want to get political. I'm not going to get political. Nobody should be killing anybody. Let's just start there and leave it at that. So the whole Exodus is not true. And even the birthing of Moses is believed to have been taken from somebody known as, I hope I can get this right, Sargon of Akkad. And even though it was later than the life period claimed by as Moses's, a lot of this stuff got revamped afterwards. I mean, who knows when that stuff got changed. So you have the creation story, which I think was stolen, but that's the only piece that may be original. You have the polytheistic religion that got told to you was a monotheist religion. Again, these are all things you can look up. And the Exodus never happened. All humans are God's chosen people. All humans are God's creation if you're taking that route. There is nowhere other than that that says that there is some specialness in, extra suffering to anybody. I mean, look around. There are people suffering a lot worse than Jewish people right now. And, I'm not speaking to the whole Jewish community, but to the clergy. Maybe if you stop lying, bad things will stop happening. Even though you have a wonderful Western country in an albeit tumultuous place, but you're living pretty good over there in that area. Yeah. And, a lot of that stuff in itself is not what people think. Just because you're living in a Western country doesn't mean you have a perfect life. I'm not going to tell you my life, but trust me, it's not a freaking fairy tale and a cakewalk. So there's that. Sorry, I got off track there, guys. It's a passionate topic. And then the last thing I'll say about this would be their disrespect and disengagement with Yeshua. Judaism is the only religion that not only don't believe in and turn their back on their sage, but help to kill their sage. Nowhere, and I've been looking into this and thinking about this a lot lately, and if it ever changes, I'll let you know. Nowhere in any religion or Enlightenment studies will you come across a culture that not only didn't believe in their sage, but killed their sage. And obviously, Yeshua was a sage to all humanity, but yeah, that's incredible. That born into their family, their nation, and as one of their people, to be like, nope, he's not our sage, and yep, we're gonna help kill him. And obviously, I think it was all done out of fear of the time period, people trying to maintain power, money, and reputation, which I understand as a human. But we need to move on from these things if we're ever gonna let the religions and the sages' messages grow and become a state of fruition for all humans again, to be able to really walk these steps and guide ourselves. So, that really horrified me, the whole thing. So again, I'm not mad at the Jewish people at all. I myself am partially Jewish. But the clergy, man, I am disgusted with Jewish clergy. And you know what? The reason you probably have all these super closed door Orthodox Jewish communities, don't look the other way, don't leave the neighborhood that we live in, because if they do, they'll probably realize all of this was just crap and garbage and made up. And I have had enough basis of understanding, proof, and research to back up the things I've seen out of other religions and Christianity. But from what I'm seeing, Judaism is the ultimate religious antithesis and antithesis of religion in general. So there you have it. That's my rant and what I know about Judaism. Please do your own research. I don't want people saying I'm a terrible person because of this. Just do some research. I'm trying to inform you. I'm not trying to shock you. I'm not trying to hurt you. I'm not trying to get you to open up to a different ideology. I'm trying to wake you up to the truth and the way, those things that Yeshua, their sage, said that it was, that these things are, that God is, that Yeshua was. So even though that they deny him as their sage, I don't. So it is what it is. But there you have it. That's all I got for this topic. Thanks for stopping by. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you didn't enjoy it, I hope it was at least informative. And peace and blessings.